Morning. Um, if you know my videos, these on this channel, it's the thinking tree. It's just me having thoughts in my head and then sort of thinking through things, or just speaking them. Sometimes the things I think may be true or have truth in them, just things I might be interested in thinking about, or I might not necessarily believe any of them. They're just thoughts in my head. Anyway, so recently I was back in in England and in Liverpool. It's not nice, and enjoying some of the great British culture of sitting in a pub talking to complete strangers. A really nice pub as well, and you should go there, by the way. The White Star in Liverpool, Button Street. Go, lovely, immensely interesting as well. Has a balustrade, at the end of the stairs from the Olympia, which was a sister ship of the Titanic, and some of the heating from there. There are relics of the sister ship of the Titanic in the White Star, and it's a Beatles pub, and it's a fantastic pub. Go to the White Star. And so I was sitting in the White Star and with my daughter, and we'd been there for about 5 minutes and sat down when you start having a conversation with Michael. Hello, Michael, who's a very erudite chap. And within sort of 5 to 10 minutes we were on to, but what does Hamlet's soliloquy actually mean? Which is a mad stat. You can just sit there with people that you don't know. There were 4 of us, a lady from Wales, who we didn't know. We just met them and we were just talking about stuff, and then Michael, being the way he is, that was the thing that came up in conversation. Anyway, the age-old question: what is Handel's soliloquy, Hamlet's soliloquy, actually about? And I just think I don't understand that question at all. I think it's pretty obvious what it's about. First of all, it's Hamlet, right? Hamlet's a depressive son of a bitch. So stuck in a maelstrom of depression. Whinging and moaning all the time. Constantly whinging and moaning about own life. And I think the question is answered pretty quickly when he gets to: for who will fathers bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the world and makes us rather bear those ills we know than fly to those we know not of. I don't think it could be more obvious. I don't think it could be more obvious what is going through his head. Life's a pile of shit. We're all going to die, and that's the end. Oh, hang on, it might be worse than that. Maybe you'll die, and this carries on, or gets even worse. So suicide might not be a way out. It might make everything worse. And that's why you are a coward and don't commit suicide and get it over and done with, because in the back of your mind, you're thinking, maybe it's not a way out. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sickly to over the pale cast of thought. So I don't understand the question in the first place. It's an age-old question, but I don't get it. Anyway, so I'm just walking along thinking, because I'm now onto the Wanderer and picking that to pieces, but I've already done Deor. I don't know if these videos interest anyone, but whatever. Deor's Lament. I've already been through a million times, and I've said it in other videos. This is on my staff. I think it's fascinating that somebody 1,000 years ago basically ended up saying, all things must pass. A very stoic answer. And 1,000 years later, a guy from Liverpool, George Harrison, says, all things must pass. And what occurs to me is that Hamlet is stuck in his miserable Hamlet phase. It's so terrible, it's all shit, it's fucking life shit. All that kind of thing, his depressive frame of mind. because he's still not come to the conclusion. Whereas Deor has been through all the crap, has come to the conclusion, and his conclusion is the stoic response, all things must pass. And it's not just the conclusion drawn by the adversities in his own life, but the lives of others, which are in the poem. So he's not just saying, look, my life's completely crap, because then you could say, well, that's just you, mate, right? But he doesn't. He gives you examples of other people and how awful their life is. He doesn't tell you, well, he does. He doesn't always tell you directly how awful their life is. He intimates it sometimes by leaving like a sort of horrible question hanging in the air, a sort of awful atmosphere, like when he says, Bear de hill de neeuws had a brother death van seven swarsa, so you yourself a thing that hier je aarliedje, that your ekan was. So, Bear de Hilde was never sick and sad in her mind about the death of her brothers, bearing in mind this is like Anglo-Saxon times, a woman on her own without the help or protection of men, her brothers, is absolutely fucked, right? And even that wasn't as terrible as when she found out that she was pregnant. Dun dun dun. We don't know from whom, and we don't know why, and we don't know anything else, but we know this is really, 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 really bad. Worse than the death of all her brothers. And then she goes on, she has no idea how this is going to turn out. So Deor is telling you, yeah, life is freaking awful, right? Mine's been pretty bad. And that of other people has been at least as bad or worse. And sometimes it's good. Theodorich, achter Frete Winter, Maringeborg. Theodorich ruled over Maringeborg for 30 years. Great. His life seemed to be okay. Point being, Deor has sort of been through that thought process and comes to the conclusion there's no point in bitching about it. It is what it is. And you have to have the stoic response to it. Sometimes life is good, sometimes life is bad. But at the end of the day, that came to pass, and this too may pass. All things must pass. Whereas Hamlet is stuck in the Hamlet. So shit, you should probably kill myself. That's Hamlet. He hasn't come to the conclusion yet that Deor has come to. And he will get to that conclusion, I suppose, eventually. But he can't get out of this mindset. Deor is long out of the mindset. Deor is long past the point of having given up. You know, he says, I lost everything. Dat het bij mij zitten willen, dat het wille was herdoen in geschoop, dricht dure, blah 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 blah. So I was the bard to this mighty chieftain, and he just threw me away. Piss off, mate. Go on, fuck off. Because he got himself a better bard who can write better songs than me. And so I lost everything, all of my land, all of my everything. And the conclusion of all of that is, dat is overreden, this is van mij. Life's a bitch. No point in whinging about it. It's the way it is. Accept it. It's a bit of a Buddhist idea, really. If I don't accept it, I'm going to be worrying about it and thinking about it, and that's going to make my life suffering and miserable. So accept, release, let go, because it's that not letting go that makes you suffer. That's why Hamlet's suffering. He can't let go. He hasn't got to that point yet. Hamlet is going through the depressive back and forth in his mind. Deor has been there and done that and realised, okay, this is shit and there's no point. And the best way to release myself from this shit is now to just give up, let it go, accept it as it is, and realise that all things must pass. That's the real difference between Hamlet's soliloquy and Deor, Hamlet is thinking about what is the point in anything. What if I kill myself and it all gets worse? Deor is well beyond that point and says, I don't care about what comes after. All I care about is now, and accepting that the now is the way it is, and there's not a lot I can do to change it. It's happened to others. It'll happen to you. Get used to the idea. That's the kind of shit I have gone through my head at 8 o'clock in the morning on a weekend. Get a life, Stevens, honestly. Anyway, later on today I'm off to play a gig with my daughter, which will be quite fun. We sing and play together, so I'll enjoy that. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Do something nice. Don't be a Hamlet, be a Deor. Much better.